Welcome to Letters from My Attic. If you're a returning viewer, hey, welcome back. Glad to see you again. If you're new, I started this channel as a place to kind of take some things I've contemplated about over the years and try to put a little bit of organization around them and kind of, throw them out there. It's meant to be kind of a contemplative, hopefully occasionally humorous kind of place. Today's going to be a little different. It is a reaction to something that just happened, and while there's some of that kind of contemplative stuff that kind of feeds my response, it is about something that just happened. So, um, I I was born and raised in the Chicago area, still live in the Chicago area. I love the city of Chicago. Not saying it doesn't have its problems. It certainly has problems. Every city does. Um, are some of those problems overstated by certain groups? Yes. Are some of them understated by certain groups? Yes. But it can't replace the fact that you've got a city with world-class museums, world-class music and cultural stuff, arguably the best theater scene in the US. Great food of all kinds available all over the city. It's just a wonderful place to have nearby as a resource, and certainly for if you're from outside, a place to visit. It's really a great place. So when I travel, and I am just back from being on the road for about 3, 4 days. When I travel, occasionally I run into somebody saying, going, "Oh, you're from Chicago," and we have a brief conversation. And I'm always willing to discuss these kind of things about what's there to see, what's there to do, if they're interested. Especially if they say maybe they're going to visit there soon, and we can kind of talk about what they might want to do, what their interests are. Always been willing to have that quick conversation. So found myself the other night. I was checking into a hotel in western Nebraska. If you've been in western Nebraska, you know everything's far apart there. So uh, it happened to be a young man from India who was checking me in, and he noticed from my driver's license that I'm from Illinois, from Chicago. I was like, "Oh, no, it's a suburb of Chicago nearby." And then he said, "My family's going to be flying in from India in a few days, and we're going to be in Chicago from October." And he gave the specific dates, and I froze because I realized I needed to say something. In the past, it's always been about, "Oh, what are you going to see? What are you going to do? Blah, blah, blah." In this case, I just stared at him for a second and I said, "You do realize ICE is running rampant all over that city, all over the city." And it took a couple back and forth before he understood I was talking about immigration stuff, not just police stuff. To which he promptly said, "Well, as long as I have my paperwork and so on." And I kind of went, "Hell, there have been US citizens who've been detained for hours about things. Just, go have a good time. But I just want you to be aware to pay attention to that." And I felt awful because every time I've been able to say, "Hey, go to Chicago, great place, blah, 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 blah." And all of a sudden, because of this political theater, sorry, if you don't like what I'm going to say, I'm going to say sorry now. You're going to certainly hear my opinions on these things, but this political theater going on, this attempt to scapegoat immigrants and to get revenge on political adversaries and all those things has suddenly had me kind of go saying to people, "You might need to think about going to Chicago." And that pains me terribly. It pains me terribly because the reasons I have to say that are made up. Um, it doesn't have to be this way. Um, and I just had to share that. It really feels bad. Chicago's a great place, and I want to tell you, visit it. But sorry, I'm about to say something that's going to upset some people. But right now, if you're not, white, Western European kind of looking person, speak without an accent, you've occasionally got ICE people running around downtown Chicago in tactical gear with rifles. You've got ICE boats on the river. You've had, man, there was an ICE vehicle that in some neighborhood, they stopped, opened up a window, threw a tear gas out the window, and drove off. That's just ridiculous. I don't care where you feel on this, where you stand on this topic. That was uncalled for. That should be, at the very least, disciplined. That was wrong. You have uh, an apartment block. I think they said it was 27 units, if I remember right, that ICE raided in the middle of the night. And we're talking about the kind of raid where we had kicked in doors and busted up stuff and blah, 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 blah. People detained in handcuffs outside in whatever they were wearing in the middle of the night. Um, and it was all done without a warrant. That's not the way this is supposed to work. Probable cause is not that somebody with an accent lives there. Probable cause is not that somebody looks a little foreign lives there. It's not the way it's supposed to work here. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at Chicago going, that's what's being done. And it's happening in other cities too. And even, there's one state right now where their National Guard's being invited in. And I kind of go, but you already see the city there is starting to get a little tense. So I'm not going to name names at this point because things haven't happened. But just got to say, this isn't right. And if you're going to come to Chicago and you're not white Western European looking, I want to warn you, make certain you know where you're going, what you're doing, and you have paperwork available and you know who to call if something happens. And let's be honest, a lot of those people are not getting a chance to make a call. That said, I hope you have a good day. Feel free to make comments down below, but the comments need to be on topic. If you start calling people names, if you start attacking people, you're going to get into a really real, some of those might be gray zones, but if you're attacking a target, if you're attacking an idea, I'm happy to have that discussion. If you're attacking a person, and it's really hard sometimes to talk about this topic without getting into attacking a person, but there will be a fine line to draw there. Please feel free to comment, but comment well. Comment with a point. Comment with thought. If you like this kind of content, feel free to please subscribe, subscribe, all those things. I am fearful that over the next couple months, I'm probably going to post far more often than I have, and some of it's going to be more like this than stuff I've posted in the past. Honestly, in a few days, I'm going to be off on a vacation stuff again, so some of what I'm probably going to be posting up some stuff there that'll be more like some of the stuff I've posted in the past. But with some of what's going on right now in Chicago, you may be hearing from me on some less contemplative topics. Have a good day. Thank you.